Fast food workers, what is your sir? This is a Wendy's moment? Was a shift manager at a McDonald's in the middle of a mall. A guy walks up to the counter with several McDonald's bags of food. Guy, my wife came through your drive-thru and you messed up the order. Me, are you sure she came through our drive-thru? Guy, yes. She told me she came through the drive-thru, and when she got home she realized the order was wrong. Y'all need to give us our money back and give us the right food. Me, confused while looking around the mall. Me, did she drive through Sears or JCPenney to get here? Guy, looks around and finally realizes Hess in the middle of a mall. Grabs the bags and huffs away. That was the single greatest amount of human stupidity I had experienced, until I joined Reddit. Nothing erodes faith in humanity like working retail and spending too much time on the internet. No. As someone who has worked in retail when younger and for the last 10 years has flown extensively internationally, airports win, hands ducking down. It's like Sky Retail, but everyone's cranky, sleep deprived, away from home, and probably been on the internet too much during their travels. Yay, airports suck. Weird, I love airports. Yeah, there are a bunch of grumpy idiots everywhere, but to me the thought of all these people coming to one place for a moment before heading off on their own adventures with their own stories and preparing to suspend themselves in the sky, I just find it inspiring. And Therese often cool architecture in the airports. Great people watching too. I always see some ridiculously beautiful people too. I like to listen to ambient music in headphones while in airports. Really changes the whole vibe. I work at a Chili's, and when I was hosting, old people would constantly come in and talk about how weird it was that we redecorated so suddenly and where did the salad bar go. They thought we were Sizzlers, which was 2 buildings away from us. Happened at least 4 times. I also work there, and it amazes me that people make that mistake everywhere. I have people come in to pick up food and get incensed at the fact that we don't have their name on our list and we must have screwed up. Then I ask what is on their order and they rattle off food from the Outback, which is next door. They say nothing and walk out the door. Like I get making mistakes, but how do you miss a giant pepper on the side of the building expecting steaks with an Australian theme? People come and try to pick up for Applebee's too, and that's all the way across town, and they get mad at me. Like, bro. We have a giant pepper on the side of the building and everywhere you look. The duck? Nope, that's an apple. Source, I have never seen fruit. First of all, duck you op for making me relive this. Now, working at McDonald's, every single day at the same time, 1600 hours, this old guy would come in and order his food. Most people knew that he wanted a special order, overcook the shit out of the patty. Started up right when he walked in. Anyway, that's not the problem, that was easy. The problem is this dude was forgetful as all hell, and would demand a ceramic plate to eat on every time. So that's when we would explain it to him. Dude, this is McDonald's, we don't have plates. And he'd usually be like, oh right. But, sometimes he would just rant about how we should have plates. I saw him absolutely flip the fuck out, because a girl stepped outside the break room with a plate of food she brought from home. I knew you bastards had plates and could not convince him otherwise ever thereafter. Keep it in the break room is the moral of the story. Work at Panera. Guest calls in from car, several people in background, all giving orders for a pickup. First order is something simple, next order is an item we don't carry. A salmon dish of some kind. I know there are some regional Paneras that have or have had salmon. We are not one of them. So I let them know, hey, I'm sorry but we don't carry salmon. Maybe, and the person on the other end of the phone cuts me off and starts getting really aggressive. Yes you do. You do. They scream. But I don't. We don't. So then I'm like, hey, maybe you're thinking of another chain? We are very similar to, and I start to list off some other places, and they cut me off again screaming, I know you have ducking salmon. What the fuck? I ate it just the other day. And at this point I'm just being honest with them and say, hey man, I don't really need this attitude. We don't have salmon. I can't make the dish for you. You have us confused with someone else. There's a long silence and finally someone, not the person who's been yelling, says, wait, this isn't insert some totally not Panera sounding place that I don't remember here. No. And then everyone in the car starts yelling at each other, and I hang up. Customer service is the worst. I can't be wrong. You are lying, even though you have 0 reasons to do so. 0 reasons to do so. Maybe not 0 reason. When I worked at Pizza Hut, there were a few things on the menu that I would have loved to say didn't exist if I could have gotten away with it. Like the crispy bone-in wings. They rarely cooked right and soaked up sauce in a bad way. Then my boss got on my ass for using too much sauce, but if I used the minuscule amount she wanted, they would have been sent back for not enough sauce. Those bone-in wings were, and presumably still are, a massive pain. They're nasty, for starters, with more than a handful while I work there still having feathers attached or some other disgusting result of being misprocessed, and that's before they even got fried. The way you had to micromanage them or they stuck like hell, and if someone newish worked on Wing Street you basically had to make sure they're doing saucing right because it was so fiddly. It wasn't me involved but I witnessed it. I worked at Burger King when I was a teenager. We are short-staffed one day, and the girl on the drive-thru was on break so our manager stepped in to cover her. He was pretty old and didn't have the best hearing, so most customers were pulling around to the window to talk to him as he was struggling to hear through the headset. Anyway, this one guy rolls up to the window and shouts, "I want a large Big Mac meal with a Coke please." "Is that so damn hard?" My manager very calmly says, "My apologies sir, that won't be difficult." He leans out of the window and points down the road. There's a McDonald's about 3 miles in that direction. "They'll be able to help. Have a nice day sir." Then he just closes the window and walks around the corner out of sight. I laughed so hard. Dude came to drive through. I open the window. "Sir, how can I help you?" "I'm out of checks." He replies calmly. "Not sure I follow you." I say. "I'm out of checks." He says again more impatiently. "Right, I heard you but I don't know what you want me to do about it. You can pay with cash or card too." Dude gives me a weird look then says, "Oh, this ain't the bank." And peels out away from the window. I'm a pharmacist. Someone at that drive-thru is dealing and taking checks. I used to manage a Del Taco during my high school teenage years. We had an older man come in once a month and drive straight through the speaker to our window. At said window he'd look at me until I came over, start ordering Starbucks, then midway through realizing it was a Del Taco and drive off. Once a month, every month, for 2 years. As a former Del Taco employee, I can confidently say that regular Del Taco customers are all mean and/or idiots. One lady in particular still makes my blood boil almost 10 years later. It was Taco Tuesday, 3 tacos for $1, and we had over 50 orders in our queue plus a line of people putting in more orders. We were slammed and understaffed and our wait time was extremely long even though we were trying our best. So this lady was getting really pissed about waiting for her super important order of 6 shitty tacos, defrosted and assembled by a guy who went to my high school but never actually showed up for class. Every time we would call out an order number, she would sarcastically, and loudly, cheer and clap and congratulate us for finally learning how to do our jobs. This went on for 10 or 15 minutes before I finally showed her our order board and said, "Here is the order we are currently making, order 15, and way over here is your order, order 45. Realizing how many orders were ahead of her finally prompted her to leave, with no tacos, so that we could continue fulfilling orders under the silent watchful gaze of our other 30 angry customers. I hated working there. Then one day, I showed up for my regularly scheduled shift to find a notice on the door that said, "Sorry, this location has closed." So anyway, I hate Del Taco. Wait, they closed and didn't tell the employees? Nope. Not a word to us until over a week after the notice was posted. Then they basically just said, "Yeah, we closed lol." In all fairness, I should have seen it coming because they were a truly awful company that took advantage of their teenage employees. I worked there as a minor, 16 to 17 years old, and they broke all sorts of labor laws. I always worked 8-hour shifts with no break even though minors are entitled to a break every 4 hours. I was frequently scheduled until 2 a.m. even though I had to wake up for school at 6 a.m. Oh, and my 35-year-old manager confessed his feelings for me and how sad he was that we couldn't be together because I had a boyfriend. That 35-year-old manager sounds like a real catch.s. They're still trying to catch him. Thanks you for the Spit Take Award. I'm glad I could make some fellow insomniacs laugh. Worked at a Dairy Queen. Had a lady saunter in all frustrated, bag in hand. Whipped out her receipt and without giving me much context said, "Therese up to be a Baja Blast." I told her, "Ma'am, this is for Taco Bell." She quickly said my bad and sped out of the restaurant. I think she was making up a story and did it in the wrong store. Also, the number of people who ask, "Do you serve ice cream?" is way too duckin' high. Also, the number of people who ask, "Do you serve ice cream?" is way too duckin' high. Wait, do you mean that you don't? Wait. Dairy Queen serves not ice cream. Dairy Queen can't legally be called ice cream, it doesn't meet the FDA requirements. It's soft serve. That's why they use terms like frozen treat instead.